couple of weeks ago, my daughter asked me to take her friend to the doctor to get birth control pills. She didn't want her mom to know that she was getting contraceptives. As a mom, I immediately thought how angry I would be if my daughter made such an important decision without talking to me first. I assume minors need parental consent to start on any medications. After all, my daughter doesn't even drive yet, and she's supposed to be trusted to know if she has any allergies, medical history, family history that will make birth control pills a danger option for her. My daughter informed me that her friend could also get family planning and get help without telling her parents. After a little research, I found out my daughter was right. According to Guttmacher Institute, federal law protects the rights of minors seeking confidential medical advice and treatment. California's Plicity allows all minors to consent to services with no restrictions. That means my daughter at age 12 can get an abortion without me knowing unless she chooses to confide in me. Though many states have tried to modify the law by restricting certain types of care without parent consent, the Supreme Court has either refused to hear the case or rule in favor of federal law. According to Title X and Medicaid, in order to receive federal fundings, they must guarantee confidentiality for all their patients, including minors. I begin to question whether the law was the problem or the culture that exists. Have parents delegated the responsibility of teaching sex and sexuality to schools and government? If so, how can I change the culture of avoidance in my own home to prevent my daughter making such an important decision without the support of her parents? During my research, I found many articles that support minors for consent for contraceptions as a way to prevent unplanned pregnancy and sexuality transmitted infections. In today's cultures of permissiveness, I agree. I acknowledge that certain parts of the minors' populations benefit from the law if they're already parents, married, have other access to sex education. However, I believe the law was only a symptom of the problem. The problem is the talking about anatomy, sexuality, and healthy love between two people with our children in considering awkward for both parents and kids and usually avoid. How many of you will feel comfortable talking to your parents about birth control when you were 15 or 16? I wouldn't. My parents are conservative Catholics and will not have been cool with their daughter being on birth control. I feel the shame and guilt felt even thinking about it, and my thinking about it, talking about them enough to make me cringe. So if American culture treats subjects like sex, education, and contraceptions as taboo, it will make sense that minors will need the law to protect their confidentiality. I agree there are minors who are mature enough to make their own medical and contraceptive decisions. But what about the 12, 15, 16 years old that may be considering contraceptions for the wrong reason or having misinformed by equally immature peers? The law is not a blanket fix and could cause harm to choose those children unable to make mature decisions and suffer from the shame or doubt because they can't talk to their parents. Parents need to rethink how they talk about sex education with their children if they want to be involved when their children are ready to ask questions. Children do better making health sexual decisions when their parents are consulted. According to the article Journal of Youth and Adolescence, a group study Amsterdam and Netherlands show adolescents whose parents talk openly about sex and influence of sexual attitudes in media have children that are less likely to engage in risky sexual behaviors. Call buffer or break. The study suggests the parental mediation buffers the effect of sexualized media consumptions and sexual attitudes in minors. Parents who communicate love and respect oriented sexual norms show down or break adolescents move towards sexual risk behaviors. Another study in Australia cites the parental involvement in school sex education curriculum provides more positive response to discussing sexuality. Parents felt more ease to allowing school to teach sex educations when they were informed about the curriculum and when qualifications of the teachers, including parents in school sex education programs, allow for open discussions in the home while remaining sensitive to the needs of the students. This study suggests that parental involvement sexual instructions improve the decisions making of adolescents in regards to sex risky and sexual behaviors. Imagine yourself in middle school. Puberty has set and your hormones are going crazy. Your body's changing, sometimes emotions all over the place. Now, you have to think about consequences of becoming sexual active. It can all be overwhelming. Now, imagine that your parents were open with you along all the changes happening in your body. They listened to you and didn't judge or shame you when you asked questions. Talking about sex to your parents was just normal as talking about school, friends, lunch. Wouldn't it be nice to have your parents help and support making such reaching decisions? In fact, when legislation was proposed that will mandate parental notifications for adolescents younger than 18 years old obtaining prescriptions from federal funded clinics, it was discovered that 79% of the minors surveyed already had parental consent. Only 1 out of 5 adolescents surveyed stated they wouldn't use no contraception and rely on withdrawal if there was mandated parental notifications. For those 1 out of 5 adolescents, I'm glad the law exists. Considering how uncomfortable it is to talk about sex and sexuality with one's parents, how do we change the paradigm that is on our current culture? Start with yourself. Be frank to yourself. Do you feel comfortable talking about sex with your doctor? What about your friends or siblings without making any jokes or teasing each other? If not, perhaps it's time to change that. Practice talking out loud about your body in healthy ways until it feels normal. Remember to be sensitive and tactful, but take the responsibility to be factual. Take the mystery of and awkwardness and turn it into life lesson, just as we'll talk about hygiene or eating healthy to your small children's old siblings. Open conversations with your friends or family that is appropriate and sensitive. Provide non-judgmental space to listen to others. And when it's time to start your family, include sexually in your open discussions. Demonstrate healthy love and respect to your partners. And be involved in your child's school curriculum. Letting your child and your friend or family member know there is no shame in discussing the human body. And it's your urge may begin to take the shame and guilt away from very natural part of life.